So as we look at farm profitability, having low cost is an important thing, and that goes very well with conservation. So the two go together, and I can give you a couple examples.
Great, great.
One is nitrogen rates. If you apply at the university recommended rate, which is about 180 pounds, give or take, you will have higher returns and higher profits than if you apply at higher nitrogen rates. Same thing with P and K levels. We also find that applying later in the season with nitrogen has more returns and lower costs than applying in fall. And as we look at tillage practices, the same thing. So if we're entering this period of lower returns, some of the things that make conservation more actually save us returns and are in the higher return area.
Give me some ideas on just how much. Are we talking about $10 an acre? Are we talking about $50 an acre?
Yeah,
Help me on that.
so as we look at high return versus low return producers, we often see $40 to $50 difference in crop cost and machinery related cost. And if you look at any single practice, it can be $5 to $10 per acre. It's the combinations of those that make things uh, really important.
So if you're approaching 75 to $100 an acre, then that could mean the difference in profitability.
That's exactly right. And again, we see that rather consistently in FBFM data is differences in 75 to even more in cost per acre from higher return farms to lower return farms.
Okay. When we think of some of those changes, how many farmers are really making those changes? Do we know?
We don't know exactly, but we do know that that there is over application of nitrogen over there relative to university rates, and that's probably about 75% of the farms actually. We know that there's some heavier tillage operations going on, and that's, you can estimate. I would put that in the ballpark of 25% or something like that. It's not the majority. If you're looking at application of nitrogen, we're slowly seeing that move from fall to more in-season applications of nitrogen. So that is changing over time.
Now, this fall, when a lot of folks did miss their appointment to apply fall nitrogen, and
Yeah.
and winter nitrogen just isn't going to work.
Yep.
We may see an opportunity for spring applied, and you've got a special crop insurance program that may help
Yep.
with that.
So if we've missed those application windows, one of the things that we do have is PACE, post-application coverage endorsement, and that will cover if you are not unable to make in season or after planting nitrogen applications. That will cost about $3 per acre, but if you aren't able to apply your nitrogen, it will provide indemnity payments. So if you're worried about that, that PACE product will cover that cost.
And your local insurance agent knows all about that.
That's exactly right. It's a federally authorized product, and it's available through any federal crop insurance agent.
Now, it has not really gotten any use the last couple of years. There's been a few dozen farmers.
100 or so policies.
Right now, will crop insurance continue to do that? Risk management agency continue to carry and offer that?
Yes, I think so. And we are the developers here in Illinois. Illinois Corn owns the product, C. Mays, their foundation, and we've been encouraged to make it better. So
Okay.
they don't want to see it go away; they want to see it made better.
And how are you going to do that? What can you do
Yeah.
to make it better?
We're in the process of doing that. Right now, what we're trying to do is make the application window much bigger and provide partial indemnities the later we get in the season. So that's sort of where we're working, and we're trying to make it as simple as possible.
Okay. So What is the window right now, and how much are you extending earlier
Yeah,
or later?
yeah. So the window is set in for each county. It roughly begins after planting and ends. It varies. End of middle of June would get it most of them. And we want to extend that so because we're getting more and more late applications of technologies to apply nitrogen late in the year. That also comes into consideration that plants are uptaking nitrogen later in the season, so that plays into that. So, but by the way, we still need some nitrogen on there early because you know,
The corn needs it.
yeah, the corn needs it.
And
So,
so it may start late May and
yeah,
going into July then?
yep, yep. So,
Okay.
yeah. So that's what we're looking at. We're in the process of building that right now.
That's right. Now, that won't be for this year.
Nope.
It would be for 26 at the earliest.
Yep.
Okay, all right. Gary, what else is important to this conversation that we haven't touched on?
Yeah, I would say, if a farmer's thinking about cover crops, and many of them should think about cover crops, the first place to start is going into soybeans. And, there's a robust system out there. Cereal rye is the species of choice. Planting it after harvest and planting soybeans early is a key to any sort of soybean production because we see a lot of yield advantages to planting soybeans in April.
And when we do that, though, we've got to have pretty good seed treatment.
Yep.
And we've got to make sure that fungicide is on there because the earlier you get,
Yep.
the cooler the temperatures,
Nope,
the
nope.
more fungus is a problem.
Yep, those fungicide treatments made that whole technology possible. So
That's right.
that is, if you look at some of the bigger changes that has happened to production in this part of the world or central Illinois, it's the soybeans are now planted before corn in many cases, and you wouldn't have thought of doing that 20 years ago or maybe, yeah. So